Hello and welcome to BlueTube, where we talk all things blue. And today I'm making kind of a different type of video. And for those of you who watched my last video, you guys would have been expecting this. But basically, in my last video, I kind of put the question out there to you guys. Would you guys be interested in joining a BlueTube Fantasy Premier League? So that not only can I compete with you guys, but you guys, the viewers, can compete with each other throughout the season. And I just think that would be a great way to keep me engaged with you and us all engaged with the Premier League throughout the season. So I put the question out there, and the reason that I was hesitant to do it in the beginning was because last season I actually made a video. You guys can find it in my channel. And then like 30 people watched it, and then nobody joined the league. So I put the question out there first this time, and a lot of you seem to be interested. You guys were very positive in the comment section down below, so I thank you guys for that. And that is why I am making this video. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you guys how to join, first of all, the BlueTube Fantasy Premier League. I'm going to be telling you guys the code. Actually, the code is in the description down below. So if you guys know the procedure, just go down in the description, copy and paste the code, and join the league. And then secondly, I'm going to be showing you guys my Fantasy Premier League team, the team that I will be starting off this season with. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. This is the Premier League Fantasy Premier League thing website. What you do is you go on PremierLeague.com first of all. But this is just the photo. You go on PremierLeague.com, and then you can see my mouse here, right? In the top leftish, you just click the Fantasy button. It'll take you to this menu. If you're not signed in, you'll have to sign in. If you don't have an account, you'll have to make an account. Go through all the procedure. Once you do that, you'll be asked to select your Fantasy Premier League team. So you should do that first, and once you have that completed, you should go to the description of this video where you will see this code, invite friends. I will copy and paste this code into the description down below, 690-548-191074. So you just copy that, and then you go on leagues, create and join a league, join private league, not a public league, a private league. Copy, paste the code in here, click join league. It'll say that I am already in this league, so I can't join it. Yeah, you are already entered in this league. But for those of you guys who aren't already entered in this league, you guys will be entered in the league. So that is how you join the league, guys. It's as simple as that. So I would encourage you, all of you, to go out there and do that now. But the big important thing about this is the actual team that you select. So today, I will go on my team and show you guys what team that I have selected. Spoiler alert, by the way. So yeah. This is my team. This is my team name, Game of Stones. I couldn't think of a name, so I'm not going to lie. I ripped that off the internet shamelessly. Credit to whoever originally thought of that. I actually live in Dubai, for those of you that didn't know that. So there's the United Arab Emirates flag. Here's my kit that you can design. By the way, the kit designer is terrible. It's actually disgraceful. And then, of course, I'm part of the Chelsea fan league because I am a Chelsea supporter. Anyway, let's go through the team. In goal, and the team is quite interesting, and you guys will notice some interesting things to it. So basically, for those of you who have never actually played Fantasy Premier League, you get £100 million to buy whatever players that you want. And each player costs a certain amount of money. Like, let's check Azpilicueta. His stats should come up if my computer will load. Doesn't actually show his price, but he was worth something like 6 million. There it is. Price £6 million or £6, whatever you want to call it. So you basically build your team with that money, and the rules are you can't have more than 3 players from the same team, which is why it's kind of just encourages you to be more diverse, I guess. So let's just go through my players one by one. In goal, I actually have not Courtois, as many of you may have expected, but I have De Gea, the Manchester United goalkeeper. And the reason that I have that is because since Mourinho has moved to Manchester United, I just feel like they're going to be a lot more stable in the defense. They're going to be a lot more tighter. And of course, De Gea himself is a fantastic goalkeeper. So I expect Manchester United to experience a lot of clean sheets just because of that Mourinho factor. And of course, De Gea himself is a great keeper. He's going to be making lots of saves, so hopefully that's going to rack up some points as well. And I actually personally think that Thibaut Courtois isn't a bad buy as well, because Antonio Conte seems to be a very defense-first kind of guy. So I don't think it would be too bad to get Courtois, but I just have a good feeling about De Gea. In my defense, I have Azpilicueta. Actually, I wanted to change these two. Yeah, I have Azpilicueta first of all. As I said, Conte, he seems he cares a lot about his defense and the defensive stability. He hates letting in goals, despite our 3-2 loss against Real Madrid. But he does hate letting in goals. So I put a Chelsea defender in there, and I actually wanted to put another Chelsea defender in there, but I didn't know who to put. I didn't know if Baba Rahman would be starting. I didn't know if Ivanovic would be back from injury. I didn't know if Kurt Zuma would be back from injury. I didn't know if Terry or Cahill would be playing. I didn't want to take any risk, but I knew for a fact that Azpilicueta will be starting the first game of the season because he's just such a beast, and that is why I have him there. And of course, our first game is against West Ham at home. So West Ham aren't an easy side, by the way, but I do expect us to keep a clean sheet in our first game at home in front of the crowd. Second defender I have is Morgan. He is, of course, the Leicester City center back, and of course, he was brilliant last season, just like every other Leicester City player. He was absolutely incredible, and I'm hoping that kind of continues throughout this season. And you'll notice the first game that Leicester have is against Hull City, which is a newly promoted side. So you could argue that because they're newly promoted, they're going to have much more fire and passion about them. But I do think Leicester will be as the champions of England. As strange, it still sounds strange to say, but as the champions of England, I think they'll be really keen to keep a clean sheet on their first game back, which is why I have Morgan in there. Eric Bailey, similar reasoning to Mourinho actually, to De Gea actually. It's just that Mourinho is at Manchester United, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna keep a lot of clean sheets. And the first game is against Bournemouth. You could say because they're new, blah blah blah, but at the same time, United are a very experienced team who knows the Premier League inside out. Bournemouth are just coming up, and of course Mourinho is at United, so I expect United to keep a clean sheet in that game. And Eric Bailey himself looks to be a really good player, just from what I've seen in preseason. In fact, just last night, that game against Galatasaray, he made a pretty big impact, and I thought he was a pretty good player. My final defender in my starting 11 is Kolarov from Manchester City. And Manchester City, actually, the reason that I have Kolarov here is they just seem to have not that many tough games in the beginning of the season. Like, for example, their first game is at home against Sunderland, so you would expect them to keep a clean sheet there, which is why I have Kolarov in there for now. The thing is, I don't know if Kolarov is going to be in the first team. I'm like 95% sure. But by the way, guys, this team might change before, as the deadline is, the deadline is 13th of August. This team might change until then or before then. But this is my current thoughts right now. So I just think Man City will be keeping a lot of clean sheets. And I think it's a smart move to go for a lot of City players. I just haven't for some reason. But yeah. And finally, in my subs, I have Koscielny. And he is actually a really good center back. And the reason that he's in my subs is because Arsenal's first game is against Liverpool. But after that, I'm probably going to put Koscielny back into the starting lineup. Because, Arsenal are actually a team that, especially against like the smaller teams, they tend to keep a lot of clean sheets. So I think Koscielny was going to be good to have and hopefully rack up a lot of points, especially against the smaller teams. But against Liverpool, I'm not too confident, which is why I have him in the subs. Moving on to our midfield, I have first player is Ayew from Swansea City, and you guys may be thinking, why do I have him? Well, the reason for that is because I just have a good feeling about Swansea in the beginning of this season. What's that? Yeah, Swansea are a team that seems to always have a really good start to the season, like for the first month or two, and then they die out. And it's like a pattern that I've noticed in the last 2 or 3 seasons. Yeah, hopefully that pattern is going to continue, and hopefully Ayew is going to get us a lot of goals and just or get them a lot of goals and get me a lot of points, if that makes sense. So there is that. Second midfielder, Cesc Fabregas. Just from what I've seen in preseason, he is just... I know he had a red card. He had a terrible tackle against... Who was it against? Against Liverpool, and he was sent off. But he was the best player in that match by a long, long mile. He is sensational. And I just think, he has just been incredible so far. And I expect him to make a lot of assists, especially in the first half of the season. The second half of the season, I might have to reconsider his position in my starting 11. But, I'm very confident that at least for the first 2 or 3 months, he is going to be, getting a lot of assists. So I'm very excited to have Fabregas on my side, and of course, I hope and I think that Chelsea will keep a lot of clean sheets because of Antonio Conte. So hopefully he'll get some points from clean sheets as well. My next player is Nathan Redmond. He is now a Southampton player. If I am correct, he was previously a Norwich City player. And the reason that I have him is because Southampton are another club that seems to do really well in the beginning of the season. And Nathan Redmond is a player that I've actually admired for a while now, ever since he was at, I think it was Birmingham City or something. And then he moved to Norwich City, and then now he's at Southampton. Correct me if I'm wrong there, guys, but Nathan Redmond, I've had my eye on him for a while. I think he was rumored for Chelsea like 5 years ago. Not anymore, of course, but Nathan Redmond, I think he's a great player. And even when he was at Norwich, he scored a lot of goals, made a lot of assists, always contributes a lot to the game. And of course, Southampton, I think Southampton always, as I said, do really well in the beginning of the season. And I feel like Redmond can be one of those big players in the beginning of next season who gets a goal every game or something like that. Something crazy like that, hopefully. Next player that I have is Barkley. And the reason that I have Barkley is there is I just wanted to have an Everton midfielder or an Everton player in my team, because Everton are a team that seems to, and I sound like a broken record. I keep saying the same thing over and over again. But Everton always do really well, or even if they don't do really well, they score a lot of goals, especially in the beginning of the season. Which is why I have Barkley there. I was wondering, should I have Barkley or should I put in maybe Lukaku, or should I put in there's another player that I was thinking of. I can't remember who. Or Delafeu, or all these different players. But I eventually landed on Barkley. I just think he is going to be contributing a lot in terms of not only goals but also a lot of assists, hopefully. So I just have him there for that. First game for Everton is against Tottenham at home, so it's going to be a tough game. But hopefully he gets a goal or two or an assist or two and racks up those points. And in my bench for my midfielder, I have Eriksen. And you guys may be thinking, why do I have him on the bench? He's a great player. Well, as I said, he is against Everton. So I actually, I might reconsider this. I might take out Eriksen and put him either replace him with Ayew or with Redmond. I'm not sure, but I'll leave him here for now. I just feel like I think Everton are going to win that game, to be honest, guys. I just have a feeling that Everton are going to win that game. They're playing at Goodison Park as well. Just adds to that. I don't know. I just have a feeling, guys. So, which is why I put Eriksen on the bench. But then I am a bit hypocritical because I have Kane at striker. And the reason that I have Kane is I just think Kane is going to have another great season. He's going to score like over 20 goals this season, I think. And Tottenham are a team that's had a lot of momentum in the end of last season, or not the very end of last season because they just kind of crumbled. But in like the last, you guys know what I mean. The second half of last season, they've been building up a lot of momentum. I think they're going to carry that forward this season, and not hopefully, but hopefully in terms of my fantasy Premier League, get a lot of goals through players like Harry Kane and Christian Eriksen. And I just think Kane is going to score a lot of goals. And one of the reasons I like having rival team players in my squad is because let's say I'm home watching a game, and then Tottenham win 5-0. I would usually be not very happy about that. But if I find out that Kane scored a hat-trick and I have Kane in my squad, it's kind of a compromise. I would still rather that Tottenham lost 5-0, but if they're going to win, I might as well get something out of it, which is why I like to have a lot of rival players, like Manchester United players or Arsenal players or Tottenham players. So that's why I have Kane in there. But I do have a feeling he's going to score a lot of goals this season. Another player I have there, partner in Kane, is Shane Long, who is now a Southampton striker. I think he moved to Southampton in January, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he has always been a great player. But I don't know why he's my captain. I'm going to change that, by the way. I don't know how to change that, but I am definitely going to change that. No way he's going to be my captain. But Shane Long, he seems to be a player who always gets a lot of goals. And of course, Southampton, as I said, I have a feeling Southampton are going to be really good for the first month or so of the season. They're going to be really, really good, winning a lot of their games. So that's why I have Shane Long in there as well. In my bench, I have Troy Deeney, and this is kind of an interesting decision because I am expecting Troy Deeney to move to Leicester City, to transfer to Leicester City. And there's a hotly rumored deal around 30 million pounds or 35 million pounds for Troy Deeney, which I think is completely overpriced. But it's like no one knows who anyone is worth anymore, so that's what the market is dictating. So Troy Deeney, there he is. If he does move to Leicester, I think it'll be a great move for him, and he'll probably hopefully get a lot of goals alongside Vardy. And it took me. The thing is, the reason I don't have Vardy here is just because he's expensive. So I didn't put him here. I put Troy Deeney instead, just anticipating a move to Leicester City. If he doesn't move to Leicester City, I might decide to keep him actually, because Watford, and actually Troy Deeney more specifically, tends to get a lot of goals and a lot of assists as well, actually. So he does a lot. He does a lot of contributions, so gets a lot of points throughout the season usually. So I might decide to keep him, or I might decide to swap him out for somebody else, guys. By the way, I forgot to mention my substitute keeper. The reason that I have this guy Nordfeldt is because he was the cheapest keeper in the game, and he's my substitute keeper. I'm probably not gonna swap out De Gea for him a lot, so I just thought I might save some money on that. So guys, that is my starting 11. Just one question that you guys may be having right now is, if you could have a maximum of 3 players from one team, why do I only have 2 Chelsea players? Do I not have faith in our team? Do I not, think that we're going to do that well? Let me answer those questions right now. The big reason that I don't have a lot of Chelsea players, the main reason, is because I don't know who's going to be in that starting 11. I honestly have no idea. The only players I can guarantee are Thibaut Courtois, Azpilicueta, and that's probably it, actually. I can't even guarantee Fabregas is going to be there. I can't even guarantee... Probably Diego Costa is probably going to be in the starting 11. Fabregas, I really hope he's going to be there. I think he's going to be there, which is why I put him there. But, because there's a lot of uncertainty. And, actually players like Hazard and Willian are going to be there definitely. But the reason that I didn't put Hazard is because he's too expensive. And the reason that I didn't put Willian is because he doesn't tend to get a lot of goals. And I think that's one aspect that he can really improve on. So that's why I didn't put those 2 players. And as I said, I wanted to have another Chelsea defender in there, but I really don't know who's going to be playing. I don't know who's going to be injured. I don't know, I don't know what's going to happen, guys. So that is why I only have 2 Chelsea players in there for now. Either because it's too expensive or because I'm not sure that they're going to be in the starting 11. I don't have that certainty. And also, as I said, it's like, let's say Chelsea do really badly in real life. Let's say we lose 5-0 to West Ham United. I'm going to be pretty mad about that. But if Chelsea, let's say I had 3 Chelsea players in this team, then it's like a double like badness for me, if that makes sense. Like it's a little bit of consolation for me to know that I only had 2 instead of 3 Chelsea players if we do bad in real life. And of course I prefer for us to win in real life, but it's just one of those stupid things that I think about. So guys, that is it for today. That is my Fantasy Premier League team. Guys, I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys join this league, and so that I can go look at your teams and see what players you guys decide to match up together. Really excited for this. Oh, as I said, the league is called the BlueTube League. Currently, if this loads, it should show you that I am the only team registered in there right now. So yeah, Team Game of Stones Manager Ojin Kwan. That is my name. So that I am the only team there. It's a little bit depressing, guys. So please, go click the links in the description down below, copy the code, make a team, join the league, and I hope to see you guys here. And that concludes my video. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay blue.